Hello and welcome. While pensioners struggle to make ends meet, Keir Starmer is busy accepting extravagant gifts from the wealthy elite. As he indulges in luxury, the very citizens he's meant to serve feel betrayed and forgotten. Join us as we expose the growing chasm between the interests of the rich and the urgent needs of the vulnerable, raising the question, can Starmer be trusted to prioritize the people who built this country? The answer may determine the future of the Labour Party and the lives of those who depend on it. Keir Starmer is currently facing intense scrutiny amid revelations that he has accepted gifts and hospitality from wealthy donors, raising serious ethical concerns. This practice has drawn criticism, particularly since it seems to contradict the Labour Party's commitment to support vulnerable groups, including pensioners who rely on benefits like the winter fuel payment. As many elderly citizens in the UK struggle to make ends meet, the perception that their leader is more interested in the interests of affluent donors rather than the needs of the vulnerable deepens their frustration and sense of betrayal. Recent polls reflect a worrying trend, with Starmer's approval rating plummeting to -26%. This sharp decline suggests that he is increasingly out of touch with the realities faced by ordinary people, particularly pensioners who have devoted their lives to contributing to society and now find themselves grappling with the harsh realities of rising living costs and potential cuts to essential benefits. For those who have spent decades paying into the system, the prospect of losing support feels like a betrayal at a time when they need it most. Moreover, allegations of cronyism within his administration, specifically the appointment of former Labour officials to key civil service roles, have only compounded these issues. Dissent is growing within his own party, with some members resigning in protest, arguing that Starmer is straying from Labour's foundational principles of fairness and equality. This internal strife not only threatens the cohesion of the party, but also raises questions about its ability to effectively represent the interests of pensioners and the working class. Starmer has attempted to defend his actions by claiming a distinction between accepting gifts and engaging in corruption, but many remain unconvinced. For pensioners who have placed their trust in Labour to advocate for their rights and well-being, these explanations ring hollow. The sense of disillusionment is palpable as they watch their leaders prioritize the interests of wealthy donors over the needs of those who have sacrificed so much for their communities. In recent weeks, Starmer has found himself at the center of a growing storm of controversy, facing serious allegations of cronyism within his administration. Critics have been quick to label this situation a tumocracy, a term that encapsulates their frustrations with perceived favoritism towards friends and allies in key decision-making roles. For pensioners in the UK, this scandal is particularly concerning, as it raises questions about whether their needs are truly being prioritized in a political landscape that often seems more focused on the interests of wealthy donors. Starmer's acceptance of significant gifts and hospitality from affluent backers has triggered an ethical uproar. Many pensioners, who often live on fixed incomes and are increasingly burdened by rising living costs, view these actions as a betrayal of the core values that Labour historically stood for. The idea that their leader is indulging in lavish perks while they struggle to make ends meet feels like a slap in the face, undermining any claims of integrity and transparency that he might make. For those relying on benefits like the winter fuel payment to stay warm during cold months, such revelations can exacerbate feelings of disenfranchisement. The fallout from these allegations has been considerable. Public outrage has mounted, particularly among party members and the electorate who feel that Starmer is not representing the ordinary citizen's voice. Many argue that this favoritism could lead to biased decision-making processes that favor the interests of the wealthy over the needs of everyday people. For pensioners who have dedicated their lives to contributing to society, the prospect of their government favoring affluent allies in awarding public contracts and appointments only deepens their concerns about fairness and accountability. Starmer's attempts to defend his actions have further inflamed the situation. While he insists that accepting gifts does not equate to corruption, many observers view this argument as inadequate. It raises critical questions about his leadership. Can he genuinely prioritize the public's needs when he is entangled in a network of wealthy benefactors? As criticism mounts, Starmer faces a daunting challenge: to restore faith in his leadership while navigating the turbulent waters of controversy surrounding his government. As Prime Minister Keir Starmer prepares for his first major budget announcement set for October 30th, the political atmosphere in the UK is thick with tension and speculation. His admission that the upcoming autumn budget will be tough has sent ripples of concern through the electorate, particularly among pensioners who already feel the weight of financial uncertainty. With the rising cost of living and limited income, any hint of increased national insurance contributions sends alarm bells ringing for those on fixed pensions. Starmer's government has faced backlash for its ambiguous position on tax increases. While he has reassured the public that Labour will not impose higher taxes on working people, the uncertainty surrounding potential increases to employer national insurance contributions has left many feeling anxious. For pensioners who have spent decades contributing to society, the fear that their hard-earned benefits might be affected is palpable. Critics argue that such decisions could represent a significant betrayal of Labour's manifesto commitments, further eroding trust in the party's integrity and leadership. The implications of a tax hike could be profound. An increase in employer national insurance could place additional financial pressures on businesses, potentially leading to job losses or reduced hiring. For ordinary workers, particularly those nearing retirement age, this could translate to fewer job opportunities and stagnant wages, adding another layer of stress to an already challenging situation. As Starmer navigates this delicate landscape, the stakes have never been higher. He must balance the need for increased government revenue with Labour's long-standing commitment to support the working class, including the most vulnerable pensioners who rely on state assistance to survive. Starmer's reluctance to provide detailed plans for the budget has intensified accusations of a lack of transparency and accountability within his administration. As Labour's credibility hangs in the balance, he faces a monumental task: delivering a budget that not only tackles urgent economic issues, but also aligns with the values of fairness and integrity that the party professes to uphold. For pensioners, who feel increasingly marginalized in the political discourse, the upcoming budget will be a litmus test for Starmer's leadership. As the political climate heats up, every decision Starmer makes will be scrutinized. With public trust at stake, this budget could prove to be a pivotal moment, not only for his leadership, but for the future trajectory of the Labour Party. Pensioners across the UK are watching closely, hoping for assurances that their interests will be prioritised in a government that is meant to serve all its citizens. Will Starmer rise to the occasion and navigate these turbulent waters, or will he falter, leaving those who have dedicated their lives to building this country feeling abandoned and unheard? The coming weeks will reveal whether Starmer can truly embody the principles of fairness and support that the British public so desperately needs. This situation represents a crucial juncture for Starmer and the Labour Party. With public confidence hanging in the balance, he is under immense pressure to prove that he can uphold the values of integrity and accountability, not just for himself, but for the party as a whole. For pensioners and vulnerable citizens across the UK, the stakes are exceptionally high. They are left wondering if their voices will be heard in a political climate that often appears to prioritise the interests of the wealthy over the welfare of the working class. Can Keir Starmer regain the trust of the public and reaffirm Labour's commitment to fairness and transparency? The outcome of these intertwined scandals could have lasting implications, not only for Starmer's leadership, but also for the future of the Labour Party and its ability to champion the rights of those who have built this nation. If you found this video interesting, hit subscribe, give us a like, and tap the bell to stay updated. Thanks for watching.